team. It's time for the Daily Detangler. Relating to situations and problems. I don't know about you, but with all the stuff going on and all of the activities with customers and Catalyst, one of the things that I've noticed about me and what I'm trying to do is how do I relate? How do I get more empathy? How do I engage? Right? I do a lot of things. I use a lot of my time, but how do I actually plug into situations? And what do I do to identify problems worth solving? Right. So I thought I would share how I'm trying to process through that and how I'm trying to detangle that so that I can make uh, better, faster decisions and increase my speed, because that's what it's all about, is getting faster. So problems, examples, situations, exploring and sharing. So we need slides that help people see. We need see slides. See what? The future. See the abyss. See what? To do what? What's the purpose of C slides? Well, so just process through that, coming at it kind of top down. I'm going to borrow a statement we use a lot, which is what makes an interaction with salespeople valuable? And I'm going to change it and say, well, what makes a interaction with me valuable? I clearly show up and I clearly show I understand the business issues and can clearly articulate to others how to solve them. That's kind of the holy grail of what we're trying to do. Catalyst is trying to explain how we solve them. Catalyst is also trying to relate that we understand the business issues. I think a lot of what I've been focused on C slides is around understanding business issues and trying to figure out how do I relate to the business issues at hand. And then that's the seeing part. And then articulate how to solve them is solving part. So see and solve. So what do we mean by what do I think we mean by seeing, right? So that's the purpose of this is trying to get some structure around seeing what and seeing why, and then how to see. So one of the things is, what's the problem that we're looking at? And I built this as a tool to think through what type of problems am I seeing? Am I seeing something that's routine, routine challenge that is very simple to solve? Or am I seeing something that's complicated or complex? And I don't know if these categories work for you, but they kind of help me think through a lot of what we're doing is complex, and seeing complexity is different than seeing something that's routine, right? So what I mean by that is, how am I engaging? What questions am I asking to help see and discover? And one of the ways that I've kind of thought about this is, the bigger it gets, the more expectations people have. So the broader their perspectives, but also it seems that the broader the expectations. And then also, because of what we're doing in sales and marketing, there are a lot of alternatives. There are a lot of choices that somebody can make. So the more expectations there are and the more choices people have, what I'm playing with here is, in theory, the more complex it is. And then when it comes to solving, the more people involved, the harder it is to solve. Something like that. So more expectations, more alternatives, and more people involved. So each of these can be some soil to plant seed slides. Like, how do I help people see it's simple, or see something complicated, or see something complex? How do we help them see at all? Right? I think that's that's part of this is a lot of this is unseen, it's hidden. And then when we do surface it, oh, it's too complex. So this is an attempt to figure out what is that phenomenon where we illuminate something, it becomes clear, but yet doesn't necessarily relate, or it gets discounted for being complex or complicated. So that's one way I've been trying to figure out, am I doing C slides to show complicatedness, C slides to show it's simple, C slides for myself at the individual level, right? So for what, and then when it comes to situations, thinking about the different types of situations that exist, what am I seeing there? And in a past detangler, I talked about, being in the present and observing situations in the present. And that means plugging into the calls that we're having and being able to process through that situation. And what types of situations are there, right? Well, there's, interpersonal situations, there's intergroup situations, there's interorganizational situations, and then there's individual situations, right? And I've spent a lot of time on the individual situations, what's happening with myself, but what about interpersonal situations and intergroup situations? And I think that's a lot of the situations we run into is what are those situations, and are we helping people see the interpersonal, intergroup, and then maybe interfunctional or intercompany maybe, but these two for sure. How are we illuminating, or how am I helping illuminate and helping people see those situations? So we have basically two two types of things that I'm working through. One is what problems do we see, and then what situations do we observe? And being in the present helps with that. So when it comes to helping C slides or building C slides, why do we want to build C slides? And what's the purpose of C slides? And I fell into the trap a while ago of just building stuff just to say I built it, right? But the question I'm asking myself is why C slides? And what I'm thinking about and trying to figure out how to to do more of is C slides that help bring a situation and clarify a situation, or C slides that help explore problems. I think these are the two C slides that I see the most from Catalyst. And I'm going to give some examples of C slides that he does and ask you, is it about seeing a situation that's happening between people, between functions, between groups, or is it about problems that people are, trying to tackle? So is it a problem C slides, or is it situation C slides? And what if I think about those in two buckets? And I don't know if these questions on the right are right, but this is some things that I was mapping to. Like what I tried to do is say, you know, if I have why questions, why do I think that's happening? So I can maybe draw a correlation into a situation maybe has multiple problems. So if a situation has multiple problems, what am I asking here? What's the what, who's who, when, and how, right? So I was just kind of playing with this to see if I could nest, or maybe through exploration or relating and having more empathy, I could nest or relate or stack, if you will, problems into situations. So if I can break a situation down into problems, maybe that would help me with C slides. But to do that, before I get into me producing C slides as the problem, maybe I can take a step back per our process and see if I can identify what's happening with C slides that are working, right? Where are C slides working? So here's one. So think about this. So think about it as, is it eliminating a problem or a situation? What's the primary? What's the primary? And I'm going to use several C slide examples from Catalyst. Okay, so is this a C slide to you? Is this a C slide? Yes or no? And then if yes, is it about a situation or a problem? How would you answer that? Situation or a problem? Okay. What about this? Is this a C picture? Is this a situation or a problem? Situation or problem? What would you say this is helping people see? Is this a C slide? This comes from, I think, Omnitracks. Is this a situation or a problem to you? Or is it neither? Maybe there's a third. Or maybe this is not a C slide at all. Is that a C slide? Is it situation or problem? What about this? Is this a C slide? Situation or problem? Is it a C slide from Omnitracks? Situation or problem? Situation or problem? How about this C slide? Situation or problem? All right, just a few more. How about this one? Situation or problem? These are all C slides on the screen here. So C slides here, situations or problems? Situations or problems? Situations or problems? Situation or problems? Is that a C slide? Situations or problems? Here's a sales objective. Situations or problems? Situations or problems? Situations or problems? The Alexis call. Here's some verbatims from processing the Alexa call. She's saying all these things. This is her voice of Gad here. Um, sometimes I come across too tough. Is that a situation or a problem? We had our sales meeting this week and we had all these priorities. And I said, what's the plan? Is that a situation or a problem? How are people looking at it? Situation or problem? Situation or problem, right? So how would you process these? The reason why I'm asking is where does C slides come from? I'm trying to figure that out. How do I get more clear on where C slides come from? And your feedback's going to help me process that. So what I did here was I just put them on the same slide here. So my thought is on situations, there's these types of situations play out and these types of problems play out. Question I had was, is this a C slide or is this a C slide? And on the 15 that I just asked, I don't know what your thoughts are. I'll tell you what my take is. And I'd like your feedback on the other stuff. You know, if you can shoot, if you haven't, I know in these detanglers, I don't actually ask for a lot of specific feedback, but if before you continue, if you can kind of go back and shoot a quick video on is it situation or problem and send it over, that would be helpful. I'm just wondering if it's both. Do C slides come from bringing both together? What is and what does that look like? And I'm wondering if that's the essence of a C slide, is clearly defined situation and clearly relatable problems of that situation, right? So that's the detangler for today. I was like, okay, well, that's a lot of questions, but one of the things that Catalyst talks about is, defining the problem clearly. And then once we define the problem clearly, can we break it down? So I'm trying to break it down. We need C slides, break it down. Situations or problems or both. And then what's the purposeful approach? You have to trust the process. Focus something to pick, focus specifically. If we have a C slide challenge, how do we lean into that? And how do we embrace that to figure it out? And then what can I try? So if you have a chance to get feedback on this, that'd be great. And then think about C slides that you have related to and C slides that you've built that have made it to customers. Do they help with situations or do they help with problems or both? So I'm going to embrace conflict on that. I'm going to basically say, I'm not 100% sure what C slides are. And I'm going to got curious about it and tried to break it down. I'd love your take on this and your feedback. I'm playing with some C slides in my daily detanglers. This is kind of the process I went through to try to break it down. And where I'm nudging towards is C slides are both situational and have specific problems identified. One without the other. Problems without a situation and situation without a problems don't land. And that's what I've been playing with in my daily detangler outputs to try to build C slides. Love your feedback, and we'll talk to you later.